YouTube, we are in the top 16 of the Meta Weekly every single week, and we're going to start this off with a banger. We have Tenpai versus Tenpai, and in both players' hands, they have something interesting. We have Heat Wave, which can completely shut off the opponent's second turn as you have to activate the start of the main phase. We have Dark Hole Dragon. I do not know why this card is being played, but I'm all for it. By watching as long as you can, that greatly supports these videos. Are you ready? Hajime.
There can only be one winner. And you're looking at it. Let's go.
Now, we have Heat Wave player going first. So, what are they going to do? They're going to Heat Wave it up right away. We're going to maxi at the standby phase. Bro, I'm Heat Waving. That's it. Neither player can normal or special summon effect monsters until your next draw phase. Both turns turned off. So it essentially ensures that you go second when you're going first. And this card, for some reason, is fully unlimited. I mean, it's not that crazy. You have to go first for it to even be good. Oh my Jesus. Set 2 pass. So you thought you shut down my turn. Setting a Kaiman's actually really good. We're going to be able to search our deck for a Genroku, special summon it, and make a play during your turn. So the main way to stop this is an Ash Blossom, but the main way to stop Ash is a Gamma. So we got the play to counter the play. I'm excited for this. Let's see what happens here as we set up the Sangan Summoning. Sangan Summoning, search our deck for a Pydra. All of our dragon monsters that are fire on field are unaffected by card effects like the Impermanence. Would not work here. Only within the main phase. Chandra, special summon. Activate the Sangan Kaiman, grabbing our Genroku. Genroku, trigger in hand, special summon itself onto the field. Now, why would we activate something when they have a Sangan Summoning? The Genroku's not protected. It has to be on the field. So even if Genroku jumps off the field, you could then Gamma that effect, and it would be negated and not protected by Sangan Summoning. You have Ash Blossom negating the Gamma, which it's great, but it's also bad because they're still going to have an open field. The Gamma does not get destroyed or banished or ripped out of the hand by the Ash Blossom, and it's activatable again within the same turn. We could do it again, just not within the same chain. We had a second copy of Gamma, then the second copy would have been activatable in the same chain. So what do? The Summon of the Biden Dragon cannot be negated, so the activation cannot be negated by Gamma nor Impermanence. You then make a Transcendent Dragon. Yeah, I guess Gamma got completely turned off. At the end of the main phase, we're going to grab a Genroku. Genroku special summon itself onto the field. Genroku activate within the main phase because once we're in the battle phase, the Transcendent says we cannot activate anything. And now we have a situation. The situation is the Fadra states that your fire monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. And one of the best ways to counter this is to summon a Transcendent Dragon, but we already summoned it, so it's too late. The Transcendent on summon states that change all monsters on the field to attack position. So it could have possibly been more beneficial to summon a Meteor Burst Dragon first, they make this play, and then we go into our Transcendent Dragon, put all of them into attack position that can't be destroyed by battle, and then wham bam thank you ma'am them for game. So what do? We're going to Chandra, special summon for the deck at the start of the damage step, Fadra reborn from the graveyard. Can't take it out, but we're attacking up to 3 times since we get the engrave effects, the Biden and Transcend to summon. We're going to make a Moonlight Dragon. Moonlight Dragon on summon, spin the Fadra back, and now you are destroyable by battle. The Impermanence cannot be used, the Gamma cannot be used, nothing can be used because of the Transcendent Dragon. So just like that, the Fadra battle protection was not needed by the Transcendent to out it. Lethal damage. Heat Wave won this duel. Indisputable, right? Heat Wave was the way. All right, can we lethal under Shifter and 2 Impermanences? We can't reborn from the graveyard. We are going to be summoning from the deck, start of the damage step. So you see that right there, sub-step 1. We cannot activate Imperm there. We cannot activate Ash Blossom here. So no Imperm, no Ash. Activate, grab Kaiman. Now, what if you really want to play around in Ash Blossom and you just grabbed your Kaiman? In the battle phase, make Transcendent or make Meteor Burst, then activate the Kaiman. Do not activate it early. Get swinging for 15, 17, another 15. Well, we're playing into an Ash Blossom anyway. Sure, grab the Fadra, special summon Fadra, swing in for 16. As you now Chandra, attempt to Synchro Summon, and of course it goes through, because if you Imperm that one, we can activate the other monsters that then want to Synchro with the Mad Lad. Let's hop into game number 3. So I guess ideally you Heat Wave, and then you just board break them with cards like Lightning Storm, Dark Hole, Raigeki, and then I guess the Heat Wave becomes good. Maybe you want to build a Heat Wave deck, just all board breakers and 3 Heat Waves. We got Pydra, Searching, Chandra, Special Summon, Shokan into our Heavenly Spheres. Heavenly Spheres here. So what you want to do here is if they activate something like Lightning Storm to deal with your Heraldic Heavenly Spheres, you activate Tribute itself to spin back your own Sangan Summoning. Now you may be confused on if they activate a Board Breaker onto your Heraldic Seal and it's the only card in the field and it's still activatable. Don't activate. Holy crap, that's a mistake. Because it could spin itself back to the hand. So it can't tribute itself. It has to tribute a card from your hand now that you committed to the activation. This ain't TCG where you're attempting a legal play, then you get to take it back. You have to commit in Master Duel, and then you lose. Not heat waving. We are not heat waving. Heat wave, dead. We could discard it with Sangan Summoning. That's fine. And when I say Heraldic Seal, spin back the Sangan Summoning. You can't spin back the Lightning Storm. As we now trigger to summon for the deck, this is where you'd want to Ash, or at least hold your Ash for a play like that. Fadra, Reborn the Chandra. Now we have to be careful about the start of the damage step of Chandra summoning from the deck, and the Fadra making our monsters indestructible by battle. So, as we saw earlier, Moonlight Dragon, spin it back, or we could Transcend it, put it into attack position. You're now under max freaking C. But taking the Maxi challenge is not a problem for Tenpai if we can make a Transcendent Dragon to turn off the battle phase for them. We have the Ghost Spell negating the Magna Hut from being summoned. Magna Hut now stuck in the hand, attempted to be summoned outside of the Maxi draw. We now have Nibiru, which is going to be trash against the Sangan Summoning. Biden on summon, activate, Reborn from the grave, Imperm dead, Nibiru dead, drawing into a second copy of the Sangan Summoning. We do not care. We're going to keep on reborning. We now have Ash Blossom as the Transcendent Dragon is being set up. As we are going to activate, put everything to attack position, DD Crow at the end of the main phase, banishing the Biden Dragon. It's the best we could do. And we have Nibiru, tributing off our own monsters. We do not want a Fadra in attack position that could not be destroyed by battle. They wham bam, thank you ma'am, you right through the Fadra, portaling right to your life points. So we have Nibiru instead at 3,000 attack. Now, with the Transcendent Dragon, in the battle phase, you can't Ash Blossom the Genroku. Nothing is activatable whatsoever. Let's go. Chandra Special Summon, Pydra search our deck. We'll be in a window where we can activate our cards now. Things are activatable. Last time we could activate something. Nope, now you can't activate. It's done. Pop the field spell trigger, but boost double the attack of the Transcendent Dragon. Lethal damage, even under max C. And I guess this is a reason why we saw that Maxi actually dropped in usage. What the heck? Usage rate, Maxi down to 84%. I think this is the lowest that Maxi has ever been. That is crazy. People would rather have a hand trap that could actually help stop Tenpai than a max freaking C. Starting this off with a pot of P, we're gonna dig 6 cards deep. Off the top of the deck, reveal to me that we are playing Rescue Ace with Snake Eye also, right? Or this is just regular Rescue Ace, in fact. All right, Ash Blossom off the top of the deck. So what already happened that's a big deal? If someone activates a pot of P, what can they grab? They could grab their Ash, and you could have activated Max C. They could also grab a Finger. So Finger off the top, or an Ash if they already have a good play. They were possibly also just trying to bait your Ash Blossom. We missed out on that Maxi activation, and now we're in big trouble. We have Bonfire, grab the Poplar. We do have Nibiru, though. So how well will Nibiru be against Rescue Ace as the Poplar is activating to be our first summon? Ash Blossom negate that Maxi as we did not activate it early as we should have. So, oh boy, that Nibiru, it worked. The Little Knight is mostly protecting you from an impermanence. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, what the heck, he misplayed. Why not make an Apollo? Apollo doesn't stop impermanence, which is a lot more prevalent, a lot more common than a Nibiru. Because if they made Apollo, then all of you would be saying, what the heck, you played right into an imperm, as they would have had that instead. So our only form of disruption, 2 of them actually, Little Knight Chain Banish, one of our monsters and theirs. We also have Enemy Controller, which could tribute a monster we control to take control momentarily until the end phase, their own body, going straight to the battle phase to take out one of those forms of disruption left with just an Enemy Controller. We're going to Tamer Laura, additional summon into the Canahawk, take control of it. We already have another Canahawk. Let's go. Just like that. One Canahawk is full combo. We're going to special summon for the deck a Tamer Laura. Yeah, it would have led into Protos, Call Fire, right? We had Fire Body on the field, Call Fire, Fire can't be summoned. Even though it was main phase 2, we'd be locked out. Yep. Let's hop into game number 2, as I did promise to leak before we start game number 2. Let's set that up. Starting off with our Airlifter, Chain the Fire Engine, which will be able to chain our Max C2, drawing per special summon, which now turned on our Triple Tactics talent. We're going to call to the Grave Finger, the Max C. So both game 1 and 2, the Max C activation timing has screwed us up, because we played right into a Triple Tactics talent, and we also didn't play around a Pot of P. Had both been activated in the draw phase, we would have instead played into a Gamma, which a lot, I would say, could argue is less prevalent, but still, you know, you take that gamble, and we got fingered. So the 3 disruption I already talked about, the flip face down, the negate a monster, and pop a monster. We now have Masquerena, banish a monster, and banish again into a double Little Knight play. This is a 5 disruption hand, and now we top deck into a Shifter. Shifter good going second. Well, you can't use it if we have a card in the graveyard, but thanks to your Call by the Grave fingering our Max C, the Shifter is actually activatable. And the Shifter turns the Rapengu into a better monster. So let's get to it, but there's still 5 disruption. The cards get banished. Now, rescue-based cards getting banished could still be returned back on the deck through the field spell to very simply interact with them still. If they get banished face down, that's when the problem arises. As we have Inheritance, the Inheritance is activating just to place itself on the field. It's not actually searching the deck on activation. It has to separately activate in an open game state, giving you the opportunity to summon a Little Knight to banish it before it even activates. Now, it's a hard once per turn activation, so they could have another copy in the hand. The Extinguish will not only destroy Rapengu, but another Rapengu cannot activate for the rest of the turn. 5 disruption was not able to be played through. Let's hop into game number 3 as Ritual Beast now goes first. They don't have a game freaking 3, Gia. Find out what happened right now. Wait. Nicky Boy DC'd, but Nicky Boy then was given the match, it looks like. What the heck kind of trash is that? Dora the Explorer searching for a Genroku, holding on to our Ash Blossom as the Genroku triggers. Summon for the deck, as we don't Ash yet still. Pydra activates, search our deck. We're really holding on to that Ash for the Kaiman. No, we're not. We're Ashing for, okay, so the reason to hold on to Ash here, because Tenpai's going first, is for the Hieratic Seal. I do recommend this. Hold on to it. The problem is they, in addition to Hieratic Seal, they could also have a Kaiman, and you have 1 Ash. So if they have both, then you're screwed. As they make the Biding Dragon first, to then make the Hieratic Seal, we're going to be reborning. There you go. And just like that, we got our Hieratic Seal. So in fact, we have 3 ways to summon from the deck. Kaiman, which is ashable, Genroku ashable, Hieratic Seal, which is ashable, but only 1 Ash for 3 effects. This is a good turn 1, a great turn 1. Good job, trap plays. Let's see what you can do. Poplar off the top of the deck, and this is an absolute nightmare. The question has become, what do you do in your hand with an Ash, limited to 1, Poplar, limited to 1. This card's a Garnet. A Garnet must be in the deck to perform your good combos. So we, in fact, summoned Poplar over Ash. That is devastatingly bad. Oh my god, and a reason why a lot of people have dropped the deck. You can get unlucky. Grab Original Sinful. We're going to be Link Kariboing as I'm waiting for, when are we using the Subversion to push a monster in the back row? Original Sinful, send the Link Karibo, summon for the deck, the Legendary Ponix. Ponix activate, grab from the deck our Fire King Sanctuary. Sanctuary set up the Fire King Island. We may see a Hieratic Seal here. Yes, we will. As we spin back the hard once per turn activation of the Fire King Island to pop a fire and search our deck. So we're now going to use the Ash Blossom, which we saved it for that. There you go. No summon from the deck, but as I said, we have Kaiman. We have Genroku. They could summon from the deck anyway. Kieran, pop the Ash from the hand, trigger the Sacred King Garunix. We're going to chain the Linkuriboh to tribute off the Ponix. Genroku is going to chain summon from the deck. Now, the Garunix will be popping another Kieran from the deck, very likely, to then non-target pop a card on the field. Fajra is here. Sacred Fire King Garunix will trigger alongside the Fajra, reborning the Chundra from the graveyard. Imperm, negate the Garunix, thus stopping the Kieran play of popping a card in the field non-targeting. Now, the Fajra and Chundra are indestructible by battle, but not by card effects. We have to figure out a way to deal with them as we now make a Hida. Hida could steal a fire monster from their graveyard. We're going to take your Pydra. We're going to link it off right away into our Promethean Princess. Promethean, activate, reborn a fire from the grave. We're going to chain Kaiman, search our deck, as we then use Droplet to send the Kaiman to the graveyard to negate the Promethean Princess. Negate. Now, bind it in the graveyard. It is summonable. If 3 attacks happen, it doesn't have to be your own monsters. It could be the opposing player. 1, 2, 3, bind it, reborn. Now we're going to Subversion, push the Fajra back. You are no longer indestructible by battle, as we now make an Amblo Whale. Amblo Whale into our Zealantis. Zealantis, activate to banish the entire field, return it back onto the field, trigger the Promethean Princess, pop a monster on the field. Let's get to it. Oh, nope, we didn't even do it. Oh, well, we didn't have a fire monster, so that's the problem. You need Zealantis plus another fire, and then even if you thought you'd have lethal damage, on the 3rd attack, it doesn't have to be on the resolution of the attack, thus you would get lethal damage, the Bident Dragon would be able to protect you from the Zealantis one-turn kill play. So it's just not good against Trident Dragon, or not Trident, but against Tenpai Dragon. A deck that's known for not having a good turn 1 is actually great against a one-turn kill play like this. And the turn, what the heck, that was enough to survive. Now it's essentially Tenpai going second. So we are super screwed. We have a Promethean, which can't be triggered. We have a Sacred King Garunix in the grave, which cannot be triggered. We need a fire monster to be destroyed. How is a fire monster going to get destroyed? Tell me, I don't see it happening. As we make a Bident Dragon, our second copy, Bident Dragon, activate Reborn from the grave. Now, by the way, Bident and Transcendence effect to Reborn from the graveyard, it's once per duel. So we at least needed to maybe force them to Bident Dragon on our own turn within the battle phase to block a lethal attack, but we couldn't even do that. Wow. Tenpai going first, winning with a great turn 1, Hieratic Seal, Kaiman, and Genroku, triple Ash effects so they don't get stopped by the Ash. Begin. Hydra, activate. I mean, you made Tenpai go first, and they already had a good turn 1 from the previous duel. Searching for the Genroku, holding on to Imperm. Are you going to Imperm the Hieratic Seal on your own turn? Is that our play? What is the way? Fajra, reborn the Genroku, as we now make a Hieratic Seal. We don't have a Kaiman on top of this, so just Genroku, just Hieratic Seal, but we have lots of hand traps. Both Veilers are activatable. If you had a Moonlight Chill, only one would be activatable. So we have negate a monster, negate a monster, negate a monster, spin back a monster or face up card, and then Ghost Spell is actually quite disruptive. This will negate a Kieran trying to reborn from the hand or grave to then pop a card in the field. That's 5 disruptions turn 1. What the heck? Tenpai's not supposed to be good going first, but this is actually great. Imperm, turn off the Hieratic Seal. It still summons from the deck, so you do have to be careful about that, even though it's negated. We have Ash on summon, going to get the Veiler negate. Now we could chain Kieran to dodge the Veiler if we had a Kieran, which we don't, but then you could chain another Veiler to still double up the negate on the Ash to play around a Kieran. We have 3 cards left, 3 disruptions left, Droplet, Bell, and Veiler. We're gonna follow up with Triple Tactics Thrust. We're gonna use the Hieratic Seal just to summon from the deck. We're now going to use Forbidden Droplets to negate the Snake Eye Ash. Okay, and so more importantly, what did we just do here? Huh, what? There's no monster on the field. So what does Thrust do? You're now thrusting a spell into your back row or a trap. So no ad. Got completely outplayed on that Triple Tactic Thrust, and the Ash was already negated by Veiler, but more importantly, we just want to turn off the Thrust. So this is still, even though we don't negate, it's still activatable to reduce the Ash by half of its attack, because it also does that in addition to the negate. Set an Impermanence. Oh boy. Now Herenic Seal will summon that body onto the field. Fadra activate, reborn from the graveyard. The Pydra activate, search our deck. Damn, we're getting clapped up here. So was that droplet worth it? Wasting droplet to turn off the thrust to set an imperm instead? It was really good. We'll see if it ended up working out well. As the Garunix is activating to pop a card from the deck, Veiler's going to negate, which is the first line of defense, as we would then follow up with the Ghost Spell. Now we're going to follow up instead, discard the Veiler, summon for the deck a Poplar. Poplar activates, search our deck for the original Sinful. We're going to link this up into a Hida. Hida could steal from the opponent's graveyard unless the Bell negates. Negate? Nope. Bell's saying that's fine. Now Promethean Princess can be negated by Ghost Spell. Ghost Spell negate? Yes, sirree, mate. You are not going to reborn from the grave. Negate. Now we can follow up original Sinful into a Snake Eye Oak, I think would be the play, right? Snake Eye Oak, Oak from the deck, activate, reborn from the grave. Ash is going to send to summon the Flamebirds. Flamebirds push back the Fadra, which is now no longer protecting your monsters from being destroyed by battle. As we then make the Raging Phoenix into Zealantis, and now we got that lethal damage play. Come forth. Do we have a Bident Dragon in the grave? We don't. No Bident Dragon. So without the Bident Dragon, summonable within the battle phase after the third attack, during the third attack, this is in fact lethal damage. So let's pretend like there's a Bident Dragon in grave, and I'll tell you when it would just simply be blocking an attack and maybe perform the, oh, nope. So you would wait, I guess maybe you want to attack first with the, you want to make sure you have something that could pop it. The Zealantis, if you're not forced to activate to pop early, you could very simply just pop the Bident Dragon on your third attack. So it doesn't definitively stop the lethal damage unless they're forced to use Zealantis early. All right, 1-1. Sangin summoning. Ghost Ogre pop the Sangin summoning, and wow. Blown the F out. That's it. Full Wombo combo turn 1 is gone. And hold up, what happened? I'm confused. Didn't Trap Plays lose game 2? Trap Plays chose to go first for game 3. Is that correct? Am I going out of my mind? How did Trap Plays go first for all 3 duels? I guess Trap Plays did not want Snake Eye Fire King to go first. All right, interesting. Fire King Sanctuary setting up the Fire King Island as we're going to be popping to grab the Garunix. Garunix will trigger, summon onto the field here. We're going to be chaining our Max C, which of course gets fingered. We just have Ash Blossom and we also have Droplet. So we did not ash the Fire King Island, which I believe a lot of people like to do. It's a pretty good ash. Ashing the Fire King Island, ashing an Alcanix, ashing a Snake Eye Ash, summon from the deck, ash an Original Sinful. All 4 of those are good ashes, I'd say. As we pop the Kirin, reborn, take out the Droplet before it could even activate, and we survive. Okay, this is fine. We're gonna have another turn. But what could we top deck into to play through an Imperm? Little Knights? If we grab another Sangin Summoning, maybe? Nope. Ghost Bell off the top of the deck. No Tenpai cards in sight. Within the battle phase, we're going to summon the Jurastorm to take out that Little Knight. And wow, we just Ghost Spell in Ash. Now, Ash could not be used in the damage step. Ghost Spell can be used in the damage step. Why is that relevant? Well, a good play in Snake Eye Fire King is go to the damage step, kill your monster by battle, and then in the damage step, trigger the Garunix, in the damage step, trigger the Kirin, all within the damage step, get poppin'. Get rid of the Fire King Island for a Snake Eye Temple. Fire King Island activate to wipe out our field of monsters, and what the? Now, Oak will be reborn from the back row if Tenpai summons. Nope. No summon from Tenpai, and now we have another hand trap. We have negate a monster on the field after being special summoned, negate an interaction with the graveyard, negate an interaction with the deck. Triple disrupt. What is this duel? Are you waiting for them to draw Tenpai? We finally have Chundra. Chundra is here, triggering the Snake Eye Temple, summon the Oak, Oak reborn the Ponix. Ponix can now be used with the Fire King Skyburn. In the battle phase, we're going to pop the Ponix and the Juraswarm, leaving up the Chundra because we could use Impermanence on it. Also, we could trigger the Garunix to reborn, Ghost Bell, negate, Mate, just like that, we can't pop a Kirin to then pop the Chundra, but as I said, we do have that impermanence to negate the Chundra before it reborn, summons a monster from the deck, that is. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have another Tenpai to chain to the impermanence to then synchro into a Bident, reborn the Chundra, and then still summon a monster from the deck. We do have Ash, we do have Moonlight Chill. Let's see if that's enough. And also the Chundra, we can't go to battle with. We have to deal with it outside of battle. We're now using our Ash Blossom onto the Fire King Island, where the first Fire King Island we chose to not negate, but now that turns on the Triple Tactics talent. Mate, we are going to look at the hand, take out the Moonlight Chill, which negates on special summon. We are now wide open with only the ability at the start of the damage step to summon a monster from the deck. Come forward, Diablo Star. Diablo Star activates setup into the back row, original Sinfold, normal summon the Ponix, send Ponix, summon for the deck, Snake Eye Ash, limited to 1 by the way, add a Poplar, Poplar trigger, summon itself onto the field, activate Poplar, grabbing ourselves a Subversion, push the Chundra into the back row, 4,000 damage on the field, 3,600 life, please just end this. Thank you. Just like that, Snake Eye Fire King, where Tenpai went first, game 1. Tenpai went first. Game 2, Tenpai went first. Game 3, by Tenpai's choice. Starting this off with the Ritual Beast Inheritance, I say this is always generally mostly a bait on your negate. I would not be ashing this. Now, of course, sometimes ashing it would be good, but more times than not, I'd say it's bad. Ash onto the Ritual Beast Tamer Laura. That is a pretty good ash, I'd say. As we're now going to ulti Hawk, jump onto the field. We'll speed this up, don't worry. We are declaring fire. Fire against Yubel. So what you could do if you want to be funny on the website, you could type in not the word Yubel on the card, but Yubel as a deck type. And then we could type in fire. Fire in Yubel. Can't special Ash, can't special Shavara. That's actually interesting. Can't special Shavara, can't special summon a Phoenix, and the Almirage is quite rarely summoned anyway. So these have now just been locked out from being special summonable. All right. And we could, of course, had a... So instead of this field, we could have had an Apollo USA and Call Dark. With the Apollo could have had 3 to 4 freaking negates. So by not knowing that they are a Yubel deck, that was a massive disadvantage. The Steeds will be able to pop 1 monster non-targeting. Masquerena is still going to be a double banish with Little Knight. The ulti Ray is going to banish any card on the field, monster or back row. So we have 4 disruption with the Protoss turning off Shavara. Will that actually be relevant? Not being able to special summon Shavara. We'll be looking out for it. Dark Beckoning Beast, searching for our Spirit Gates. Spirit Gates, searching our deck for a Chaos Summoning Beast. As we then now make our Phantom of Yubel to negate a monster effect. We're going to use the Steeds to take out the Phantom of Yubel. We're now at 3 disruptions left. Dark Beckoning, additional summon D-Lotus. We're going to banish the D-Lotus. Now, the D-Lotus cannot be special summoned back because the Spirit Gate's only reborns in the grave. We now have still our Masquerena play. Wow. Honorably called fire, not dark, against Yubel because we were not supposed to know that they're playing Yubel and still won the duel. Very well done. Now, does Ulti Ray stop Nibiru? No. Nibiru does not tribute to activate. It tributes as part of its effect. Thus, it's perfectly fine. We're going to summon our Phantom of Yubel right away to turn off the Ash, but it does not matter. Damn, what the heck happened? We got the Finger, Imperm, and Phantom of Yubel. We'll count the Call by the Grave as a disruption here. Imperm turning off the Phantom of Yubel. We're now going to E-Teleport, summon for the deck. Now, we also bricked. What the heck? We bricked even harder. That is really unfortunate. Now, the Tamer Lore is actually going to be banished during the end phase, and it will activate. Get activated. Summon from the deck our Canahawk, not a Winda. Oh boy, the Canahawk by itself is going to do nothing during the opponent's turn, as we now make our Lord of Yama to get Ash Blossomed, right? Negate the ability to search for a Shavara, but will we finger the Ash? Of course we will. Finger the Ash, negate, search our deck for a Shavara. double, triple tactics talent dead. These cards could have been something like a Book of Eclipse. I'm not saying that it's a mistake to play triple tactics talent. It's a great card. In fact, if you use triple tactics talent against a deck you have no idea what they're playing, you now know what they're playing. You now know what to call with your Protos. So I'm even considering playing cards like Unicorn. Unicorn, look at the extra deck. You now know what to call with Protos. End the turn, top deck Protos. That's the downside of playing Protos. You want to play a toxic card, it's actually a brick. Now, Asian players playing Ritual Beast, they're not playing Protos. They are, in fact, playing, instead of Protos, this would have been a Skill Drain, or a there could be only one. So they're not off the hook on not being toxic. They are definitely still toxic. As we now make a Soul of Anguish, further link this up into an access code talker, but boost, as we're now going to be banishing, take out the Call by the Grave, 8,000 life points. Let's keep on going. Come forth as we now use the Spirit Gates, discard Reborn from the Grave, which just like that, that's a Chaos Angel for 3,000 damage. D-Lotus activates summon from the deck. Spirit of Yubel, set up a Nightmare Pain. Nightmare Pain, can we deal 8,000 damage or what? What's going on? Squirmer special summon, that is another 3,000 damage play. Reborn from the Graveyard, Shavara, 73, special summon. Yeah, thank you. I know you're playing with your food here and I'm your food. We're going to be activating our Shield Bearer. Shield Bearer, banish, search our deck for the Pangu. Pangu is here. We are going to, so why did we not lure a Pangu? By opening up a Pangu first, it gives your opponent the false illusion of, hey, I only have Pangu. So if you have an impermanence, you should definitely use it because it's my only play. Getting tricked by the fact that there is a Tamer Laura follow-up. So we're now going to Ulti Nochi, trigger the Tamer Laura. Are we playing under Max C? Of course we're not. We're going to finger that Max C, negate. And now let's speed this up and we're gonna call Dark with our Protos, which should first turn kill Yubel. How's Yubel gonna play around that? They absolutely just lose. So my question to you is, should Protos get banned? Will it get banned? Protos, even though Ritual Beast is not the most prevalent, most used deck, I think it's being used more than something like the other cards that got hit, right? Was Jaugen being used more than Protos? I think Protos has a lot higher usage rate and Jaugen got banned, right? And then you had the Cyburst monster that Yubel players are playing. I think that was starting to become quite popular. So I really would not be surprised. But then, what if they switch Protos into Ishtados? So this field kind of sucks, but it is still something. Dark. Now, it would be nice to turn these into a Little Knight, but Little Knight is dark. So what do? We can still normal summon Dark, we just can't special summon. We're gonna grab the Dark, the Spirit Gates, searching for the Chaos Summoning Beast, additional summon, as we make a Sprite Elf. Elf is gonna not be able to reborn a monster from the grave because they are dark, grabbing the Spirit Yubel. Now, Spirit Yubel is activatable during the battle phase unless they call Dark again. Call Dark, we can't special summon Spirit Yubel during the battle phase, and that may be the case. Let's see what happens. Protos, call Dark, that's it. Spirit Yubel turned off. We are out of here. Protos lock, top tier, let's go. Setting up the Nightmare Throne. Now, to be fair, it's not full power Yubel. They've been hit by the balance a few times, so Yubel's going to possibly need Fiendsmith for that bigger comeback. And also being able to not make a Varadros at the moment. Varadros is an Omni Negate. And what is Tenpai doing? They are playing Board Breakers. So Varadros, negate a Lightning Storm, Harpy Feather Duster, both good cards to get stopping. Imperm onto the Spirit of Yubel, attempting to search and set up the Nightmare Pain as we now make a Yama. Yama search the deck, grabbing the Shavara. Now, is Droplet a card that hard counters Yubel? No. You can use your Escape of the Unchained to pop your own card and then reborn your card and it will now be activatable. But when you pair up Droplet with the Sangan Summoning, then it does actually become a really good counter because they're not going to be able to activate any of their cards within the main phase besides something like a Phantom of Yubel or the D-Lotus, which of course you can negate with the Droplet. So you think your Phantom of Yubel is protected, but it's not. Untargetable Phantom of Yubel. We're going to Kaimin, use Droplet, send the Kaimin and the Pydra to negate both bodies on the field. Now, let's say Escape was activatable and the Sprite Elf instead was the Soul of Rage. What you would do here is you could activate the escape to pop the Soul of Rage and another card in the field. You know, keep up the Phantom of Yubel, and then the droplet negates nothing. Because if you send 2, you have to negate 2, have less than 2 on the field, droplet fizzles. Negate, double negate. Now we can't reborn the Soul of Rage from the graveyard, which we very much wanted to. Are we super screwed? If any card we control gets destroyed, the Yama will be able to reborn the Soul of Rage. That is something that probably will not happen because within the battle phase, you are going to be turned off by a Transcendent Dragon. And when you don't have a Nightmare Pain on the field, I think that the Phantom of Yubel should be summoned in defense, right? Why is it in attack if we don't have Nightmare Pain? It gets negated, it wasn't fully protected, it's just 0 attack in attack. Special summon, we are taking that maxi challenge. We do not care. All within the main phase. No Sangan summoning to protect the Pydra. Now, without Sangan summoning, Ash cannot negate Pydra if you summon it from the deck through the Chandra, and then, oh, but then the Kaiman will be negated by the Ash. No, it will not if you make a Meteor Burst or a Transcendent and then activate the Kaiman. So you can fully play around Ash Blossom if you want to. Well, in this instance, we couldn't, right? You still could have. Just summon Pydra, don't activate Chandra, summon Pydra, Kaiman, Meteor Burst, Transcendent, then activate Kaiman, fully playing around the Ash Blossom. Spirit of Yubel summoning from the hand here with no Nightmare Pain, so we're not forced to attack into it. We're going to redirect our attack into the Sprite Elf. Chandra is not activating summoning from the deck. We are going to Pydra, Synchro Shokan into our Bident Dragon. Bident on summon, reborn the Chandra, attack with the Phaedra. Phaedra reborn, not reborn from the graveyard, we're actually going into a Moonlight Dragon, activating to return the Spirit of Yubel back to the hand, which, here's the problem. If you're not using the effect of the Samurai Destroyer, you instead trigger the field spell because now the Yubel left the field. Now, you can't summon Samurai Destroyer if you activated Bident Dragon, locking you into Dragon monsters only. So very important, you have to CMD first, then Bident Dragon, then Genroku from the deck. So are we now screwed as we are now summoning an indestructible by battle monster? We're taking 2600 main phase 2. Oh my goodness. Damn. Maxi, I think, choked us up. Yeah, Maxi screwed us. So I do show in my Tenpai guide where you got to make that Samurai Destroyer. It's better. Sam D to counter the Nightmare Throne and the Yubel. Neither will activate, and that's the play to counter Yubel. Begin. Clashing Souls, you got to remind me again. Holy crap, that was the card. I remember I was calling it Rain or something. Ash Blossom, negate the Nightmare Throne. Negate. What now? We do have D-Lotus, so you normally would want to search for D-Lotus. Imperming the D-Lotus early. Well, the Grave Scormer could reborn the negated D-Lotus and then simply activate it. I do not recommend using Imperm onto a D-Lotus on field. There's like 5 or 6 different ways to still activate D-Lotus on an early Imperm. Yep, just like that. Summon for the deck. Our Spirit of Yubel, setting up our Nightmare Pain. Now that we have no more hand traps left, let's speed up this turn 1 play. Pain, activate, pop the Yubel. Remember, you can criticize plays, do not attack the players in the event, or we're going to clap you in the chat. Summon for the deck, Shokan into Apollo USA, not made with the Masquerena. Not that we play it, but it would otherwise protect us. What's interesting is, Summon Sorceress, a brand new card, is in fact in our extra deck. Damn, very nice. Okay, and what else is here? We have a Sprite Elf, also for the spice. Raigeki claps us hard. Goodbye Apollo, goodbye Phantom of Yubel. What the hell? And Raigeki is semi-limited still. I think it's unlimited in TCG, yes? Raigeki, wipe the field, taking out Apollo. Both of our negates are now gone. We still have Imperm. The Yama is going to be reborning from the graveyard a Fiend, which is not going to be able to reborn the Phantom of Yubel, but we could summon a D-Lotus. D-Lotus is a disruption. This actually will disrupt. A lot of people forget about that or have never even seen it. During the opponent's turn, monster effect activated, change the effect to destroy a Yubel on the field instead. That's something. Call by the Grave is going to be fingering the Spirit of Yubel in grave to negate the on-field Spirit of Yubel as we then chain Kaiman to no Ash. From the deck, grabbing our Pydra here. Hydra on summon will be searching and setting up the field spell, but we don't have another card to discard. We would be searching for something like a Chundra. So what do? D-Lotus is going to negate it. We don't have a finger to finger the D-Lotus as we fingered another card instead. Pop in the Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel is negated. Now Chundra special summon. What do against an Imperm? Well, start the damage step. Can't chain Impermanence, so can't Imperm there. Okay, attack with all 3. Activate, Imperm this. Well, we then chain another Tenpai Dragon. We can't Imperm. Imperm no good. Okay, we could Imperm the Bident Dragon, right? Activate Reborn from the graveyard. Well, we would then chain the Hydra to synchro with the Bident, dodging the Impermanence. We lose an attack there, but the monster still gets reborn. We lose. Even with Imperm on the field, we could not stop it. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Let's start off with a Kaiman in the draw phase. Come to me playing around a Droll Lockbird. We're going to chain Dimension Shifter, chain Maxi to the Dimension Shifter. So what do you do under Maxi? You just set Kaiman. You're fine. You could still normal summon your Hydra, and maybe could eat up an Impermanence here, eat up a Disruption that they don't even have, set Kaiman, and no play from there. We have the Sangan Summoning, which could return back to our hand through making the Hieratic Seal if we were able to make that, but we don't want to under the Maxi. This is great, unless the opponent has an Ash Blossom. With no Ash Blossom in the hand, we're not going to be able to counter that Kaiman. Now we are going to be grabbing a Dark Beckoning Beast, additionally summoning into the D-Lotus. We're going to use the Kaiman right here, right now, checking for the Ash, no Ash. Now we're going to be checking for the Finger. Genroku summon. Genroku will be able to attribute itself to summon from the deck, just like that. Well, actually, Finger is not usable because everything's being banished by the D-Shifter, and it's worth noting that Dimension Shifter hard counters Yubel because every card is banished instead of being sent to the grave. So the Spirit Gates can't reborn from the graveyard. We're going to Nightmare Pain, activate the Throne, searching for the Spirit of Yubel. You are going to still be able to potentially use something like Nightmare Pain. Now, Nightmare Pain is an effect that deals damage to you. So is it effect damage? No. The effect is to reflect battle damage. Why am I emphasizing that? Because Hydra states that you take no battle damage. So the Nightmare Pain is not gonna wham bam, thank you ma'am for game. We're going to Nightmare. We have to deal with the Hydra if we want to. So maybe there's some way to stop Hydra from being on the field or negating the Hydra. Also, Sangan Summoning is not protecting Tenpai in main phase 1 during the opponent's turn. Let's make the Yama. Yama is here. Search our deck. Again, we are under Shifter, so our plays are severely limited. The Squirmer, one of the best plays is being able to banish from the graveyard to summon a body. We're going to link off of the Chundra, which would have been able to summon a monster from the deck. So no Fodra plays either. As we then make a Little Knight. Little Knight ensures we now cannot attack directly. The problem still stands. The Hydra is turning off the Nightmare Pain battle damage reflect. As you grab an Ash Blossom from the deck with our Pot of P, return our field in hand to summon our Phantom of Yubel. Shavara, pop our back row, come forth and summon. Reflects nothing, as I said. Take out Hydra, take no damage, can't attack directly, end the turn. Now back to you. Raigeki and Forbidden Droplet. Now the Little Knight is going to be able to protect our Phantom of Yubel from the Raigeki, but just for the next turn to be summoned. Otherwise, we're going to be completely opened up to disruption as we just have an Ash Blossom activatable. But we can see right here, Tenpai's got no play whatsoever. Raigeki attempt to wipe out all monsters. Now, because the Little Knight banishes and does not special summon it back on the field, the Phantom of Yubel will still come back, but Droplet is going to negate that Little Knight banish play. Thus, we wipe out the field, triggering Shavara to set up an escape from the deck. Shavara activate, also Nightmare Throne. So should we chain Maxi Nightmare Throne? It's a bait. It's a big jabait. They could add the card and not special summon it. So you are hard coping if you Maxi it. Maybe they could still accidentally summon the card. We coping. That's the cope, as we potentially still have 0 cards in our hand because we do not have the special. So it's up to Nonstop DC to give a free card. Add, don't summon. Yep, that's it. I didn't say I was summoning. I choose on resolution. Let's go. So, I don't know. Would Judge DQ the other player if the Maxi player said, what does the field spell do? And I go, it special summons a monster on the field, and I go, okay, I chain Maxi. And then on resolution, I go, I don't have to special. It can. That's what it do, but I'm not doing it. Judge! All right, 2, 2, 1. Begin. We're going first. Well, we do have the way to set up the Buster Blader plays. So we're going to Pydra, search our deck for the Kaimin, and we are not going to Maxi. We holding on to that seed, making a Striker Dragon here, interestingly. Why? Well, if you have access to the Buster Blader trap, which Trap Trick will give you access to it, you need one other requirement. That one other requirement is a Dragon Monster engraved. That's it. If you have a Dragon Monster engraved plus the Buster Blader trap, you are now going to force the entire opponent's field to defense, and none of their monsters can activate their effects. You're about to see all of that and more right now. We're going to Wanted Secret. So be very careful. Triple Tactics Hat loves to take control of the Buster Blader, so as long as we don't activate a monster affected in the main phase, we'll be protected from the steal. Sinful Spoils, searching our deck as we chain the Trap Trick. Trap Trick is locking us into one trap for the rest of the turn. We can't activate any other. Oh boy, this is it. Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman summoning the Buster Dragon, which will turn all opposing monsters into dragons, as we then banish from the graveyard to come forth and summon a Buster Blader Dragon Swordsman. Yes, yes, yes. Banishing a dragon, which was the requirement, plus a Buster Blader. Buster Blader Dragon Destroyer Swordsman is here. And it's going to boost up 1,000 per dragon the opponent controls on the field or in the graveyard, and it got impermed. Damn. So how do you play around that? You wait for them to have something on the field, then they can't imperm. That's it. That's what you got to do. So something like now. Now we could do it. All right, Original Sinful, send the Diablo Star summoning the dragon, Snake Eye Ash. It is a dragon. So anything being a dragon could potentially disrupt a Link summon requirement, which I don't think there are any requirements that it messes up. Nope, we are not required to summon anything here. Yeah, any of our monsters turn into a dragon does nothing. We have Sacred King Garunix, pop a monster from the deck, which would be the Kirin, to reborn a Fire King or summon from the hand to the non-target pop a card in the field, taking out the back row Kaimin. We also should have, in response to the Kirin, chain Kaimin, search for a Genroku special summon. We would have been fully protected from the Kirin pop, as it would pop something else, and we would instead whip out our Tenpai engine. Pushing the Buster Dragon back into the back row, we now have Sunlight Wolf. Do we have any mods could do channel point bets on the dual players, please? Add back the Kirin. That cannot be summoned this turn. That's fine. We're going to be using the Original Sinful, return back the deck to grab off the top of the deck an Ogre. We now have Promethean Princess, and I think we all know where this is going from here. Reborn our Snake Eye Flamebirds into now making our Raging Phoenix. Raging Phoenix turn into Zealantis. Banish the entire field, special summon it back onto the field, as we got the Zealantis, Flamebirds, and the Sacred King Garunix. Now, something's missing. What the heck? The Buster Blader cannot be special summoned back. Must be fusion summoned, and this is not a fusion summon. Thus, it stays banished. Goodbye to Striker Dragon, reborn from the grave, 8,200, triggering Raging Phoenix, boost to over 13,000 damage. Prologue is doing nothing. That's trash. Lethal damage. The prologue states that, I'm going to read it, hold up. Destruction Sword cards you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and the Buster Blader Fusion is not a Destruction Sword card. The Buster Synchro is also not a Destruction Sword card, so it just does nothing. It could help Chain Link block something, maybe. Let's hop into game number 2. Chandra, set pass. What'd I say? The requirements. You have to have a dragon engrave. We don't have a dragon engrave, so this Chandra must be sent to the grave through our droplet. Why didn't we set Trap Trick? That's something, huh? All right, Snake Eye Ash activating to grab a Poplar. You definitely do not want to Ash negate that, but the droplet onto it, I think, would have been actually a great play. And get our dragon into the graveyard. We have Link Karibo triggering the Poplar to equip itself into the back row. Snake Eye Ash send the Poplar, summon from the deck. We're now chaining the prologue right here, right now. Send from the deck to the graveyard to summon our Buster Dragon. Buster Dragon turning all opposing monsters into dragon. We're now going to use Forbidden Droplet because our Engrave Destruction Sword is not activatable until now. Now we can summon the ultimate monster, Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman, forcing the Flameburge into defense, and now Flameburge cannot activate to push a monster on the field back. What do? Negate. 1 for 1, discard, summon from the deck, can't activate. Link off into Hida, can't activate even though you're not in defense. It don't matter. It's not like Baguska where defense position monsters are negated. It is just can't activate no matter what position you are in, and only if you're a dragon, and that includes if you're a dragon in the hand or in the grave, but the Buster Dragon only makes you a dragon on field. Now, there is a self-balancing feature to this Floodgate because Konami did have some good foresight with this, and that is the prologue states, at the end of your turn, your monster gets destroyed. Yep. Destroy the Buster Dragon Synchro during the end phase of the next turn, which is this turn. That's it. It's gone. We're no longer turning them into a dragon. And that we couldn't Tenpai lethal. That's it. It's dead. Now, Buster Blader Destroyer Swordsman is nothing. Nothing. Yep, nothing. All right. Trap Trick. Chain the Droplet to negate. Do we have another prologue play? I don't think so. And yep, because we didn't send a monster to the graveyard, the monster was able to chain to the droplet, dodging the droplet. We had to send Ash. I'm not saying that would have been a good play, but it was the only way to stop the Link Karibo, which was public knowledge. So the correct play would have just been to save droplet for a non-level 1. Negate the Hida, so a fire monster now cannot be reborn. Prologue, if we have another Buster Synchro, there's no way we do. We do! We play 2! Okay, we're still in this duel. Now we're not. Why are we not in this duel anymore when we were gonna be in this duel? We just turned on the triple tactics talent, which can now take control of the Buster Blader boss monster. That's it. We had it. And then we played right into the TTT. I mean, we didn't know. It was a good negate, but oh my gosh, mate. Holy moly. That just is really unfortunate because we should win. That's it. They lose. Nope, because we ashed. The Ash Blossom screwed us. Now we're no longer dragons. We're gonna send to the grave, summon from the deck, Snake Eye Oak, Oak Reborn the Poplar, further go into the Promethean Princess. It's just the rule with the Buster Blader Fusion that the opponent will always have triple tactics talent, no matter what. It's stuck to their hand if you make this, so just don't activate any other monster effects within the main phase. Further going into the Raging Phoenix, we already learned that Zealantis banishing the Buster Blader ensures that it does not come back. So if they don't have a monster that comes back, how do you lethal damage on an open field? You can't unless you make the Phoenix. How's Phoenix lethal? You'll see. Go to battle, attack, since we couldn't Promethean, we now destroy our own card. Pop our own Phoenix, trigger the Raging Phoenix. We did not need Flameburst here, but with the Raging Phoenix, we now have game, and just that alone is gonna be game without needing your Promethean Princess. Nicely done. Lethal damage. Good job, good job. 2-0. Oh boy. All right, Yubel versus Cactus Bouncer. What the hell? Another plants on the field, then neither player could special summon. What the? Let's talk about our disruptions. We have negated monster, link off with a special summon monster to then banish with a Little Knight, banish again with Little Knight, pop a card with the Escape of Unchained. That is 5 disruptions. Let's go. Yep. Special summon the Princess. Now we activate Max C where you are not able to use a Gamma on us. We are going to negate the Ash Blossom, attempting to negate the Max C. Negate. That's not really a negate. It changes the effect. Pop in the Spirit of Yubel. And when you change an effect, it's not considered affecting the card, thus something like the Singing and Summoning Field spell would not protect your Tenpai monsters. Take out the Cactus Bouncer with our Escape. We are now going to be triggering our Yama to reborn the Soul of Rage behind where the Sprite Elf, making it untargetable. And we could then link off with the Princess to banish that back row card. So as you attempt to end your turn, it says, end of the main phase. Would you like the Soul of Rage? Yes, I would love to. Link off, banish the Rivalry, Banish. We do have Borea as our other play. Borea could target a plant in the graveyard. I mean, we're done. We are so done. Just like that, let's perform our lethal damage. Could we put out AK? Reborn D-Lotus into Spirit of Yubel, set up into the back row, Nightmare Pain, turn back, summon our Phantom of Yubel. Got 3,000 damage in the field so far. Searching for D-Lotus, trigger the field, trigger Spirit of Yubel, summon 2 bodies onto the field here. We have, instead, we returned a Phantom of Yubel in the grave back into the extra since we only control 2. We're gonna boost up with the Access Code Talker, 5,700 damage, as we then make a Chaos Angel with a level 9 and 1, 9,200 for game. Taking this into game number 2. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Let's go, let's go. Do not Ash. Very good. Summon for the deck, the Loki into our Dry Ash. Do not Ash. Maybe Imperm. There you go. This is when you Ash. Do Ash. Yes. Perfect. Negate. Why do we wait for that? This is a hard once per turn activation. A second copy is now not activatable. It would summon a twin, which would, I mean, that's summoned 3 bodies in the field. Think about that. Plus 3 bodies, negate with your Ash. That's exactly what you did. The Dance Peon is Cope. It's going to try to summon plants off the top of the deck, 2 random plants, and we don't want to randomly see those plants get summoned. So we're gonna follow up with a Aroma Blend, discard a card, set up the Humid Winds. Search our deck for an Aroma. We got Rosalina. Humid Winds is going to boost up our life points as we thrust an Imperm into our back row and then end our turn. Unfortunately, we couldn't make any play with the Rosalina nor the Aroma Blend in Grave. We now have Nightmare Throne searching for the Dark Beckoning Beast. Are we ready to Imperm the Beast? Well, there's now Shavara. Shavara is a one-of. It does dodge impermanence onto the Dark Beckoning Beast. Unfortunately, yep, just like that. Chain. Should we have played around that? You can't play around a freaking one-of, mate. Come on now. As we then search for that Spirit Gates. Spirit Gate it up. Search our deck for a Chaos Summoning Beast. We can now reborn the Dark Beckoning or just go straight for the Spirit of Yubel. It's just like, bro, really? You Shavara'd my Imperm? I'm not even shaking your hand. Begin. A good turn 2, a good turn 1. What's there to not love about Buster Blade or Tenpai? We have a Dry Ass here. Activate, search our deck for the Sunvine Sowing. We're going to hold on to the Impermanence instead. As the Sowing summons the Twin, summon from the grave. So remember, I said the Sowing summons 3 bodies. It summoned a Twin. It's going to, oh, now we're going to Imperm the Twin instead. That's actually interesting. Okay, so we have 2 bodies instead of 1. Imperm onto the Dry Ass potentially would have been a better play there, but if they could get their Dry Ass out of the extra monster zone through something like a Glamour, and then normal summon the Loki to make another Dry Ass, then you get screwed. We're going to Nibiru, tribute up the field. Now, Nibiru is hilarious. It's just like a Drowning Mirror Force, where if you attack directly, all your monsters get shuffled back in the deck. Why bring up that card? That's a card that was popular in Duel Links, but what's the biggest downside to Nibiru and Drowning Mirror Force? Whenever they become popular. When people know it's coming, then the card becomes worse because they play around it. But then, when less people play it, then it becomes better. It's just a seesaw of become good and bad, and right now, because no one's expecting Nibiru, it's good to play. Until it no longer becomes good to play, then it goes back and forth. We're going to Glamour, search our deck for a Rika Fairy, Mudan, Princess Special Summon. We are now going to tribute off the Princess, Special Summon the Mudan, searching up for our field spell. The Con. If we control a Rika, we could set a Rika spell trap from the deck. We got the Rika Sheet to sheet onto the opponent. We're going to be tributing off their monster to take control of another monster. That's a play. So what exactly do we have here? Besides tribute to take control, we have Ash to negate interaction with the deck. That's 3 disruption. We have the Princess if you control a Rika monster, you can negate a monster effect. So 4 disruptions. Let's go. Pot of P. Do we negate Banish 3? A small banish here as we grab a prologue to be used during the opponent's turn here. Genroku. Now we're going to get Sheetan. Tribute to take control of Nibiru. And we still had Ash. We still had the Princess. Give me back my Nibiru. Now we're going to prologue send to the graveyard to come forth and summon our big boss monster. The big issue here is the Rika Princess being able to negate a monster effect. I'm not activating a monster effect. We're going to, through double continuous effects, turn your entire field into dragons, and then your dragons cannot activate. So come forth into Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. The problem with this field is the con states that if you attribute a plant, you could tribute the opponent's monster instead. So Glamour tributes a plant. I'm going to tribute off your dragon as a plant. And now my monsters are no longer dragons. Your floodgate does not work against me. Damn. So the Buster Blader's doing nothing. We are going to tribute off to come forth and summon into the Ragnarika. It's really weird that we have 2 plant decks and 2 Buster Blader decks in the top 16. I don't know how that happened. We have Ragnarika Bloom searching for the evil seed, discarding that evil seed, Snowdrop turning our entire field into level 8 monsters, the plant monsters that is. We have Teardrop, which could tribute off a monster from the opponent's field. We're going to tribute off the Nibiru, gain a small little boost after tributing. Con searching our deck for a Glamour, which we already activated. We're going to be linking this off into the Skeletal Soldier. Skeletal Soldier, reborn a Ragnarika. Further link this up into the Aroma Rosemary. Rosemary is going to be searching our deck for the Blend. Blend set up into the back row, a face-up trap. Humid Wind, search our deck for an Aroma monster. We got Rosalina. We're going to gain 500. Special summon off of gaining 500. On summon a monster from the deck into Laurel, making a Jasmine. Laurel, when sent to the grave, gain life points, trigger the Jasmine. Search our deck for a plant. We got Borea. We're going to use the in-grave Ragnarika Skeletal Soldier, return back to special summon, then tribute off to banish a card on the field. Goodbye. 5,800 damage on the field, further by boosting up with the Teardrop. Equip with the Borea to come forth and summon into 8,700 damage. Now, discard a Destruction Sword card to make a play. That means we do nothing. Yeah. Can't discard to special summon because we have no Destruction Sword card to discard. Lethal damage. Game 1 going to plants, completely impervious to the Buster Blader Dragon Lock as the Con simply outs the floodgate. Damn. So you know that your Buster Blader setup is now not as good going first. You could still cope on maybe turning the Mudon into a dragon before it searches the field spell, but if they hard just open up the field spell, you're screwed. So maybe you want to go second with your Tenpai cards. Rely on the Tenpai aspect of your deck more than your Buster Blader. Now, playing Buster Blader, of course, comes at a cost. We have less non-engine. What are good non-engine cards in Tenpai that we're now not going to be playing? Likely the Board Breakers. Probably don't have room for Droplet. Definitely likely not having room for a Harpy Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, or even the Heavy Storm. This is going to be a problem. Let's see what happens in game number 2. Kaimin into the Pydra. Holy moly, 60 card plant, and they got hard open the Con, hard open the Droplet, hard opened a main combo starter, hard opened up the Crossout Designate to protect our combo starter. Crazy freaking hand you got here, mate. We're going to prologue in the draw phase, use the Destruction Sword memories to fuse into our Buster Blader fusion and turn all of your monsters into dragon so that you can't just search for your field spell. Right? It should work. It's the perfect plan. Come forth. Saying and Summoning does not protect our monsters in the main phase. These are not fire dragons anyway. The prologue does nothing in grave. We used it just so it wouldn't bother us. Now, just like the last freaking game, we got Con into Glamour. Glamour we just drew into, by the way, as we're now going to Trap Trick set up a Desperate Impermanence, which is activatable the turn it was set. We have Imperm, we have Ghost Spell, and we have Nibiru. That's all we got. The Buster Blader, again, is doing nothing. Activate Dryas, Imperm negate. You play Imperm, right? Of course you do. Cross out Designate, negate the Impermanence, negate. All right, just like that. Now, what else can we do? Do we draw perfect or what? This is crazy. I feel so bad for Tenpai right now. Except, I think the Nibiru is going to save us. What can they do to stop a Nibiru? Nothing in the extra deck could stop it. But in the main deck, they could do the Borea. Borea Therion is searchable through a Jasmine. There you go, Jasmine. But it's already ready. It's at 5 summons. And then the Borea could search for a Therion Regulus, which could negate the Nibiru. Got the Sunvine Healer, get healing, target the Dryas, trigger the Jasmine, search our deck for that Borea. Borea's gonna help us out it. Equip, summon, activate, send, Regulus with the field spell. We're going to Jasmine, tribute, summon a plant from the deck into the Lone Fire, tribute off the Borea, summon from the deck a Snowdrop, Con, activate, grab a Ricochet. Now, the field spell is here. Now we search for the Regulus. And now, we didn't Regulus yet. Now, you do have to be careful. I don't want to be redundant here, but here is a very good tip. Let's see this. Let's type in Rika. Let's type in cannot special summon. So you can lock yourself out of being able to summon the Therion Regulus. So you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except plant or reptile monsters. So you would be screwed out of using the Ragnarika. Another card that locks you in is the Rika Princess, the Petal. The Sunvine Sowing does not, right? You cannot special summon for the extra deck except plants, so that's just the extra deck. So make sure you don't get locked out of summoning the Therion Regulus, and I don't think we did any of those cards that locked us out, right? The Rosalina also locks you out. Yeah, right? Does it? You can't summon except plant monsters. So are we locked out? Yeah, we did. We did the effect. We can't summon the Regulus to stop the Nibiru. We are screwed. The Con locked him. He is locked. Yeah, these are all the cards that lock you. The lock. Set a Rika. You cannot special for the rest of the turn except plant monsters. So what's really interesting here is we activated the field spell because we were replacing the field spell with a card that would negate Nibiru, but is not summonable if you use the Rika field spell before the new field spell. So we screwed ourselves by locking us in a plant only. And what did I say? Nothing in the extra deck could stop Nibiru. So we are waiting until the end of the main phase. And that's it. Whoop, there's Princess. That negates though. So while the extra deck does not protect you, the Rika Princess does if we control a Rika, whether it's in the hand or in the grave. So we thought we were safe if there was no Rika Princess in the grave. Now, when did we search the Princess? Did we already have it for a while? I guess, there you go. This is the problem. On the resolution of Jasmine searching for Princess, that is what sealed the deal and screwed us big time. Tribute off to negate. Gotcha, mate. So either the Regulus or the Princess, those are our 2 ways to stop. So I guess you would want to be searching for the word negate. Negate, Princess negate, Regulus negate. These cards do not negate the Nibiru. This only negates during the opponent's turn. So there you go. Aroma Blend actually negated by the Ghost Spell. That is wild. Trying to perform a fusion summon by banishing from the graveyard. To battle we go, 5,800 damage. Despite the Nibiru being negated, we are not able to end the duel. Now, what are all of our disruptions here? We have Ricochet, which could, now we can't use the Con to tribute a monster to take control of a monster, but we could tribute our own monster to take control. So we have take control, we have negate with Droplet, we have the Teardrop, which could tribute off a monster. Do we have a Ricochet in the graveyard that's activatable? I do not think we do. We have about just 3 disruptions. Sangan summoning, searching for a Genroku, discarding our Nibiru, don't need you anymore. Genroku special summoning, we're unaffected within the main phase. So if we could set up a Transcendent, this is just triggering to gain attack. We're not trying to tribute off the monster as that would not work. We're not tributing by cost, we're tributing by effect. All right, grabbing the Kaiman. Kaiman searching our deck for the Chundra. Could maybe Black Rose the field. I don't think we'd want to do that. Ricochet, tribute to take control, but there is a Sangan summoning, so that does not work. We're going to Boost. We're now in the battle phase. This is where we would be able to use the Ricochet. And so, yeah, what the heck happened? Why did we Ricochet early? I don't understand. We're now trying to tribute off the Chundra by card effect, but we could chain Synchro instead, right? What is going on? Oh, he couldn't activate. Oh, that's what he was trying to turn off? Okay, he was not taking control. Target a monster, tribute the plant, cannot activate. Yeah, I was thinking about just taking control of the monster. And what were we stopping from activate? Don't we still do that in the battle phase and try to take control though? Am I misunderstanding on this being a good play in the main phase? What were we stopping? And then we couldn't chain to that. All right, yeah, all right. Didn't we have the other monster that still could have activated? Target cannot activate, so the Chandra was not activatable. But why didn't we? Oh, we initiated with Pydra. So Pydra started the first chain. Chandra could not activate because of the Ricochet. Why didn't we synchro in main phase 1 though? Right? Bident, Reborn, the Chandra at least, and then go to battle? I'm kind of confused on what exactly happened here. You know, obviously it was good to change to the activation of the Pydra. The Chandra could not activate. The Sheet was not able to take control, but was able to make it so the Chandra could not activate. All right, a lot of interesting plays here. You're now going to, again, attempt to summon our Buster, Blader, Dragon Destroyer, Swordsman, and turn their entire field into Dragon. The problem is, not only do we have Droplet, we also have Dark Ruler no more. Oh boy. Prologue is doing nothing. Let's banish it. Drop the lit. Sends to the grave our Dark Ruler no more to negate on field both the Buster Blader and the Buster Dragon. So no longer Dragon, and you get reduced. Let's Mudon tribute off, come forth and summon. Rika Queen is continually boosting. The Mudon is going to be searching our deck for a Glamour, as we now make a Skeletal Soldier. Soldier, Reborn the Ragnarika from the grave. We're going to add back the Banished Samurai Beetle. We're going to then banish that Beetle after adding it, sure. We're going to tribute off the Ragnarika, search our deck for 2 cards. We're now going to be summoning into a Dance Peon. It looks like we're getting quite desperate. What's going on here? Top 2 cards of our deck. A Rose Whip is here. It's top 3, that is. Wait, did we reveal 3 cards? 3 cards? Yeah, 3, and then you could summon up to 2 Excavated Plants, all right? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What the heck? We're no longer negated. You are all dragons. You cannot activate. To defense you go. The Rose Whip does state that your opponent can only activate 1 spell or trap card each turn. So if you activate the Saying and Summoning to Search, does that count? No. It's the activation of the card, not the effect of the card. Uh-oh. Wow. How did this happen? We stopped Tenpai, we stopped Buster Blader, but we couldn't follow through to deal with it afterward. A lot of interesting confusion within this duel. So yeah, I think we just did not expect the Ricochet to turn off our Chandra. And then we realized that in the battle phase that our Chandra was not activatable. So then we led with the Chandra, led with the Pydra, playing right into the Teardrop Rika Queen. That was definitely interesting. But had we synchroed in main phase 1, wouldn't we have been fine? Target the monster, tribute a plant, cannot activate, and then if you tributed a monster, you could then take control. So am I wrong in thinking that this should have been used in the battle phase still? Right? Let's say you activate Pydra and start the battle phase. You then chain the Ricochet to take control of the monster. They then chain the Chandra because they're about to be taken control of. You could then chain the Teardrop. So you would still have the effect to be able to take control of the monster, which I think would maybe be better than they cannot activate, because you then give them the opportunity to synchro within main phase 1 still, and then they got to play around the Teardrop within battle phase as they summon Bident, Reborn, something like the Chandra would have been good, and then go to battle. Yeah, it was the timer. The timer got him. All right, 1 in 1. Rosalina summoned from the deck into a maxi, called by the grave, Finger That Sea. Not happening today. With the Magnolia, we now have the Glamour searching for the Princess, and no Cactus Bouncer. All right, so not so toxic. What is the Magnolia doing? While your life is higher than your opponent's, plant monsters cannot be destroyed by your opponent's Raigeki, Lightning Storm. None of that nonsense will be destroying you here. And I think a lot of you have seen how prevalent Raigeki, at least in today's event, has been. And then the Hyperton can negate a spell or monster. We do have Ricochet, which could tribute a monster to take control of a monster. And then in Grave, we have the Rika Princess, which can negate a monster. So I'm counting just 4 disruptions. I'm curiously that we did not summon the Bangla Lancer Resurgent. I feel like we could have easily summoned that for another form of disruption, but let's see what's good. Imperm is going to be negating the Hyperton. So now we are down to triple disruption. Pydra, search the deck, Princess, negates, and tribute on the negates. So now we just have Ricochet. Alrighty, let's get to it. Let's do it. To the battle phase, Kaiman. Why set before the battle phase? That's like a Duel Links thing to do, right? Well, by setting a card in the battle phase, it gives you the option to summon Trident Dragon, pop that set card for additional attacks. Grab a Chundra, summon the Chundra, and before we even get to the damage step, which you can't chain the sheet to the damage step, we're going to tribute, take control. And yeah, Petal's gonna resummon itself back in the field. Thank you for giving back my Chundra. Is this a play? We discard Buster Blader. We could then fuse into the Buster Blader Dragon Swordsman, but we're missing the Buster Dragon Synchro play. So we can't turn them into Dragon, thus they are not turned off from activating. This is nothing. We are screwed. This fusion does not matter. And the Chundra during the battle phase is gonna hopefully get to the damage step. There's no way they're going to allow them to get to the damage step, will they? Con setting up a Glamour from the deck. The only good card here is Chundra. Trash and trash. Oh my gosh, game 3 just like that. Magnolia banished 2,000 life. Goodbye to the Buster Blader Dragon Swordsman. Boost up the field to over 9,000. Borea boost up to 11,000 damage on field. Search our deck for the Therion Disc Coliseum. As we then play it to search our deck for our Regulus, which can't even be summoned due to the Con field spell setting up a card into the back row. We have Teardrop, which could tribute off the Chundra before we even make it to the battle phase. Say goodbye to you. As we now boost a little off of that, as we further make the Bangla Lancer. Bangla Lancer could return back the Buster Blader. And now we have lethal damage. Gia, give a warning to C stuff for normal summoning that Princess. Completely unnecessary. Lethal damage. Game 3 going to Plants. 2 Buster Blader in the top 16, and both of them got knocked out. Damn. Thank you, YouTube, for watching the full top 16. We'll be advancing into the top 8 grand finale and top deck list. We'll be starting this off with Rescue Ace versus Ritual Beast. I'll see you then.